In this video, we're going back in time to explore the golden era of horror films, and we picked the most terrifying, jaw-dropping, and unforgettable movies that sent chills down our spines in the 80s. Get ready for a roller coaster of fear, suspense, and maybe a few nightmares.
The battle for the mind of North America will be fought in the video arena. The Videodrome.
Kicking off our list at number 10 is Videodrome, 1983, directed by David Cronenberg, a mind-bending Canadian science fiction body horror film.
Time to slowly, painfully ease yourself back into consciousness.
The story follows Max Wren, a cable TV programmer played by James Woods, who stumbles upon a mysterious and disturbing television show called Videodrome. As he investigates deeper into the enigma, he becomes ensnared in a hallucinatory world where technology, desire, and reality intertwine. The film explores themes of the impact of media on human perception and the human body's vulnerability to external influences. It's a dark and surreal journey that blurs the boundaries between technology and the human psyche.
Videodrome is something for you to leave alone.
Videodrome is a cult classic, celebrated for its thought-provoking and disturbing content, pushing the boundaries of horror and science fiction while examining the complex relationship between technology, reality, and the human mind.
Therefore, television is reality, and reality is less than television.
How are those maggots? Maggots, Michael. You're eating maggots. How do they taste?
Taking the 9th spot on our countdown is The Lost Boys, 1987, directed by Joel Schumacher.
Why don't you try some noodles?
A horror comedy film set in the coastal town of Santa Carla. It follows two brothers, Michael and Sam, who move to the town and discover it's plagued by a gang of youthful vampires led by David, played by Kiefer Sutherland.
I can't beat your bike. You don't have to beat me, Michael. You just have to try and keep up.
Michael gets drawn into the vampire group while Sam, along with the eccentric Frog brothers, tries to save his brother and the town from the undead. The film combines elements of horror and humor, creating a unique and stylish 80s atmosphere. It's known for its exploration of teenage rebellion and the vampire subculture, with memorable characters and a killer soundtrack. The Lost Boys has become a cult classic, celebrated for its mix of thrills and laughs, cementing its place in 80s cinema and the horror genre.
It's time to join the club.
The boy was taken to Europe, cured miraculously, and returned to inherit an empire. That changeling was you.
The Changeling, 1980, is a Canadian supernatural horror film directed by Peter Medak. The story follows John Russell, played by George C. Scott, a composer who, after a tragic loss, moves into a historic Seattle mansion.
When was the house last occupied?
Let's see, about 12 years ago.
As he settles in, he begins experiencing paranormal phenomena and comes to realize that the house is haunted. In his quest to uncover the truth behind the supernatural events, he delves into a chilling mystery that involves a vengeful spirit and a long-buried secret. The film is celebrated for its atmospheric tension, slow-building suspense, and skillful use of classic ghost story elements.
That house is not fit to live in. It doesn't want people.
Scott's exceptional performance.
You're not Joseph Carmichael. You're the beneficiary of the cruelest kind of murder. Murder for profit.
And the film's focus on psychological horror make The Changeling a standout in the genre. It's a masterclass in suspense and eerie storytelling, exploring themes of grief, guilt, and the restless spirits of the past.
Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
What about it?
Did you know that movie was based on a true case?
The Return of the Living Dead, 1985, directed by Dan O'Bannon, is a horror comedy that takes a unique spin on the zombie genre.
I thought you said if we destroyed the brain, it'd die. It worked in the movie! Well, it ain't working now, Frank. You mean the movie line?
The story kicks off when a group of employees at a medical supply warehouse accidentally release a toxic gas that brings the dead back to life. As the reanimated corpses hunger for brains, a group of characters must band together to survive. What sets this film apart is its combination of gruesome horror, dark humor, and punk rock culture. The Return of the Living Dead offers a fresh take on the zombie apocalypse. And it has gained a cult following for its irreverent and humorous approach, making it a beloved cult classic in the horror genre. Coming in at number 6 is Poltergeist, 1982, directed by Tobe Hooper and produced by Steven Spielberg. It is a supernatural horror classic. The story centers on the Freeling family, who live in a seemingly peaceful suburban neighborhood. Their lives take a horrifying turn when their youngest daughter is abducted by malevolent spirits through their television set.
I can't see you, Mommy! Where are you?
The family must then confront the relentless and malevolent forces that haunt their home to rescue their child. The film is renowned for its suspenseful and supernatural themes, blending elements of domestic life with paranormal terror. It features iconic moments including the catchphrase,
"They're here,"
and memorable special effects. Poltergeist remains a significant influence on the horror genre, exploring the vulnerability of the family unit in the face of supernatural malevolence.
Hey, Scotty, what's this place like anyway?
Well, the guy that's renting it says it's an old place. And the best part is we get it so cheap.
Yeah, why are we getting it so cheap?
Well, I don't know. Might be in real bad shape.
At number 5, The Evil Dead, 1981, directed by Sam Raimi, is a cult classic in the horror genre. The story revolves around a group of friends who head to a remote cabin in the woods for a weekend getaway.
Well, it might not be that bad.
No.
Actually, it might be kind of nice.
Yeah.
Not known to them, they stumble upon the Naturam Demontu,
roughly translated, Book of the Dead. The book is bound in human flesh and inked in human blood,
and inadvertently unleash evil spirits that possess and torment them. It's a visceral and intense battle for survival as the group faces a nightmarish onslaught. The film introduced audiences to the iconic character Ash Williams, played by Bruce Campbell, who would become a central figure in the franchise. The Evil Dead is celebrated for its innovation in low-budget filmmaking, its use of practical effects, and its unique blend of horror and humor.
You're not gonna leave me here, are you? Are you, Ash?
What do you mean all at once?
I mean, it was as if there were 4 razors cutting at the same time.
Number 4, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, directed by Wes Craven, is a landmark in the horror genre.
You okay, Tina?
The film introduces the sinister character Freddy Krueger, a disfigured and vengeful spirit haunting the dreams of the teenagers residing on Elm Street. In their nightmares, Freddy becomes a nightmarish figure, wielding a glove adorned with razor-sharp knives, where the line between dreams and reality blurs, making it impossible for the teens to escape Freddy's wrath even in their sleep. The movie was a game-changer in the horror genre, bringing a new level of psychological horror and creativity that led to numerous sequels and TV shows and further cemented its status as a horror classic that continues to terrify and captivate audiences. It also marked the birth of Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund, as one of the most iconic horror villains in cinematic history.
You think you was gonna get away from me? No. You die.
I call them telepods. They're controlled by this.
So, what do they do, the phone booths?
Telepods.
Next is The Fly, 1986. The Fly is a science fiction horror film directed by David Cronenberg. It's a remake of the 1958 film of the same name.
What is it? It's like hairs or something.
The story follows a brilliant scientist, played by Jeff Goldblum, who becomes the victim of a tragic experiment gone wrong. He gradually transforms into a human-insect hybrid as a result of a teleportation mishap, leading to a terrifying and grotesque physical and psychological metamorphosis. The Fly is celebrated for its visceral and disturbing portrayal of body horror and the emotional intensity of its characters.
I'll hurt you this day.
The film explores themes of identity, decay, and the consequences of unchecked scientific curiosity. It's known for its practical effects, which depict the grotesque transformation of the protagonist. The Fly is considered a classic in the horror and science fiction genres and is recognized for its impactful and disturbing storytelling.
What am I working on? I'm working on something that'll change the world and human life as we know it.
You see, when a man bleeds, it's just tissue. But blood from one of you things won't obey when it's attacked.
At number 2, The Thing, 1982, directed by John Carpenter, is a science fiction horror masterpiece set in an Antarctic research station. It tells the story of a group of researchers who discover a shape-shifting alien organism that can perfectly mimic any life form.
That's not dog. It's imitation.
Paranoia and mistrust escalate as they struggle to identify the imposter among them while facing a life-or-death battle against the creature. The film is renowned for its atmospheric tension, practical effects, and intense character dynamics. Its ambiguous and chilling ending has made it a classic in the horror and science fiction genres, exploring themes of isolation, identity, and trust in the face of an unknown and deadly threat. The film is celebrated for its suspenseful storytelling and has become a cult classic.
When this thing attacked our dogs, it tried to digest them, absorb them, and in the process shape its own cells to imitate them.
As well as one of the greatest science fiction horror films of all time.
It'll try and survive. Crawl away from a hot needle, say.
The only thing that can get a bit trying up here during the winter is the tremendous sense of isolation.
Well, that just happens to be exactly what I'm looking for.
And finally taking our top spot is the psychological horror film, The Shining, 1980. The Shining is a psychological horror film directed by Stanley Kubrick, based on Stephen King's novel of the same name. The story follows Jack Torrance, played by Jack Nicholson, who becomes the winter caretaker at the isolated Overlook Hotel.
I think a lot of things happen right here in this particular hotel over the years. And not all of them was good.
As he, along with his family, stays in the hotel, supernatural forces begin to manifest, leading to Jack's descent into madness. Kubrick's direction and Nicholson's unforgettable performance as Jack Torrance create an intense sense of terror.
And I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
The film explores themes of isolation, familial dysfunction, and the fragility of the human mind. The Shining is celebrated for its iconic moments such as
"Here's Johnny!"
and the eerie twins in the hallway.
Come and play with us.
The film's ambiguity and the profound performances by the cast, especially Jack Nicholson,
Does it matter to you at all that the owners have placed their complete confidence and trust in me and that I have signed a letter of agreement, a contract?
have made The Shining a classic in the horror genre.
For some people, solitude and isolation can of itself become a problem.
Not for me.
Do you agree with our list?
No!
Which horror movie from the 1980s is your favorite?